Hey everybody, spiritual healer Kimberly here. I am here bringing you Tuesday Sacral Chakra midday motivation. Welcome and thank you for clicking on. I appreciate your attendance. Anyway, today being about Sacral Chakra is all about us taking everything that we learned yesterday from our root chakra, from our greatest level of understanding about what the Most High Creator really intended us to be, what He intended us to be, who He intended us to be, the limitless beings that He created. And then on Tuesdays, as we move into the sacral chakra, our spiritual education brings us to a point of, well, now that I'm this new and improved person, for the first time understanding this perhaps in my whole entire life, what now would really bring me the most joy and excitement and abundance and peacefulness, that you're honoring yourself and feeling that emotional feeling of fulfillment within yourself. And because it's that day, I wanted to share with you what my passion became. As I began my spiritual journey back in 2014, I started a big research on all different types of things and how they were relative to our spiritual wisdom and our spiritual growth. I had already had so much in my head, research of things that I've read and lectures that I have watched and videos I have watched. I had so much already going on in my head, but I was having the most difficult time in the application of that into my life. So my research basically was centered around how can I heal painful emotions that keep me blocked, A. B, how can I turn that from something that was negative into positive? And C, what are all my tools available to help me get there? Now, in the meantime, I'm a Christian spiritualist, so it's important to me to follow God's path, the Most High Creator's path, in order to determine how to go about my life, right? So as I began with all of this research and experimentation, I found bits and pieces that were relative to the eventual leading up to a full process which easily and painlessly helps us grow in spirituality and wisdom, then bring up our energetic vibration to match that so that we can remove blockages and begin exposing our higher level energetic vibration and spiritual wisdom and truth out into our immediate and then larger environments for a greater impact on humanity. So my passion has been putting this together. And I wanted to show you this, and I couldn't get, no matter which app I used, I couldn't get a full picture, but we're literally looking at the wall in my office and chalk. But I needed something really big, and I just wanted to show it to you because I'm proud of the things that God has enabled me to find as my joy. And it just so happens to be bringing together all the tools to help other people find their joy and help them live a loving life once again, maybe for the first time ever. So I just wanted to introduce to you all of the things I've got up here, and I'm going to have to move the screen around, so please bear with me. First of all, I created, you know, Spiritual Healer Kimberly. I finally claimed the title for myself, and from there, that was in recognition of my gifts and my growth. And from there, I said, how can I help more people? Because the Lord wants us to use everything that we have in the most joyous way possible for His highest benefit of helping other people see Him also. So my question was, how do we do that? And He said it was like this. And this we grew. And it just so happens to be attached to all of the research and everything I've ever done, literally in my whole entire life, to arrive at this climatic kind of point, which pulls all of my wisdom and all of my experiences together into one big nut so that I can help everybody get through it too. I'm not God. I'm not the Most High Creator. I'm not the one that is in direct communication with you to show you the exact particulars of what He would like for you. That's very personal between you and the Most High Creator. But what he wanted me to do is enlighten you to the path that's available. It's the path of least resistance. It's to show you how to get past all the things I had to go through in a difficult way, in an easier, expanded vision kind of way, which erases a lot of the pain, which then erases a lot of the fears that we have about growing within ourselves and addressing things that need to be addressed. So, Club Gig is on Locals, and it is my public platform where I bring all of my material, whether I'm posting on Rumble or living on Rumble or posting or living on YouTube. Everything is on Locals, and it's updated automatically, and it is like a social media platform. However, it's more protected, and we can speak more freely on that platform, and that's why I chose it. And I do predominantly use Rumble as well for that same reason. I maintain my YouTube account because it does have value when it comes to viewership. Okay. But my primary home base is clubgig.locals.com. And the reason why it's called Club Gig is because the process that I developed, the therapeutic guide that I have put together, I called The Grass is Green. So grass is green, GIG, clubgig.locals.com. And my whole wall is filled with bits and pieces of wonderful things, all pertaining to the process of healing and becoming responsible spiritualists, beginning to live our authentic spiritual selves, not only from the wisdom contained within our minds, but allowing that to flow through fully so that we may become and act as our highest vibrational spiritual selves on a regular, becoming our highest version of ourselves in public, which is a very peaceful stance, by the way. It's the power within. But learning how to attain that and learning how to cultivate that into your day to day is a very, very easy process. It's very painless. And it requires only to pay attention to some of the things that I'm showing you for the greatest level of guidance. So on here, I'm just jam packing it with information, okay? Let God drive. That's our primary focus, and it's spirituality with a focus on healing and clearing our energy. Because a lot of people don't understand how our energy can be blocked. And the blockage of our energy is indicative to the blockage of an emotion. So by learning how to grow spiritually, we release the blockages of the emotions, allowing this energy to cultivate greater and greater the more and more that we break free. And we are very much the new era of spirituality because, our world is changing, obviously. And, what used to work in the past, all of the ways that we went about living our lives was very authentic, disauthentic, unauthentic, lacking authenticity. Going forward, it's requiring our spiritual, authentic selves to come to the forefront to lead our everything. So, this transition we're in from here to there is we, the individuals, literally being miracles in action. The miracle being our acceptance of who we are according to the Most High Creator, all the way out to our projection of our newfound truth, wisdom, and energetic value into the collective as a process. And therefore, we then become the miracle of the new age of spirituality or the new era of spirituality. And because of this, I have created an event that starts April 22nd, right on Club Gig, where we really hone down, because as I'm going to show you, there's a lot of bits and pieces that I'm publicizing right now that, are short of everything that we can use. There's many tools that we can utilize to expedite the process of spiritual growth and energetic transmutation and release of negative energies. So I'd like to get everybody started on the 22nd. I'm going to make it two different things, The anybody who wants to become a gigger will be able to receive all of the regular posting that I do in one area and have the capability of commenting and participating on the feed like a social media platform. Any super gigger then has the access to the advanced education and the advanced tools. It's not that much. It's a monthly fee, and it's really, really worth it. And we're going to do that. It's for a 50-day focus, because we, just like we focus on a different chakra and different spiritual education every day of the week for 7 days to fully work through our basic chakra system, the overall course is based on the education foundation of a single chakra per week, further securing our foundations and building us up in the front and in the back, in our minds and our emotions, and working that into the physicality, the 3D of us into our world. So there's 7 weeks. So for 50 days we focused hard on adopting a new way of thinking for ourselves to help us be better people. But again, I'm presenting the path. All right. Again, 422, clubgig.locals.com. Get on board now. I do have video that we could use daily. I have texting where I can notify you. I also have a workbook and journal so that you can pen, write down your education, which is extremely, extremely helpful and has a high energetic value to it. Every day I write down what day of the week it is. Okay, can you see that? No, not quite. I have to pull it down a little bit. Okay. So, it's hardly visible on the screen, but I do have Sacral Chakra Tuesday. The date is 4/9/2024. When you add those numbers together, you get 21, which breaks down to a 3. Now, I want to mention something about that. Oh, my head's cut off. I want to mention something about that. Sunday was a 1. Yesterday, with the new moon and the eclipse, it was a 2. Now, a 1 means that we are bringing our wisdom from our previous cycles forward so that we can utilize that newfound wisdom, that expanded understanding in our future circumstances and situations, right? And then today is a 3, which is the beginning of a new cycle, which means that the life event of yesterday, 2 equals a life event of an energetic nature, giving us the opportunity of choice. So yesterday, when we were getting, bombarded with all this high level energy, our minds and our bodies would have been directed towards where at an amplified rate wherever our minds were already at the time that it happened. So if you're getting in tune and you're desiring a higher level connection with the Most High Creator, and you have your focus on positive creation and achievement through this year, every time something like this comes about, you'll be in the best possible mindset for the greatest level of development for yourself. And and I'm going to show you something here. A number 3 with the beginning of a cycle. So we had a number 1 bringing our wisdom forward, and number 2 a life event, which gave us a choice. And then based on which way we chose, whether we're going to choose enlightenment or choose to stay the same, it's the beginning of a new cycle. So today, as we are rediscovering our joy and what gives us the greatest level of passion, we are introducing the beginning of a new cycle with the very first steps effective as of today. Okay. Now I have some other information on how well you can see it. This is what we do every single day. This is what I've been broadcasting. This is what I will continue to broadcast and also continue to post on Locals. Every day I have a morning focus at 8 a.m. It's more spiritually based, but it also according to which chakra is significant for the day. A midday motivation, which typically this is not the format. Usually it's short and sweet and concise and to the point, delivering you a food for thought during your day to lift your thinking back up to where we had left off with the morning focus. And then at night, the evening meditation is specifically looking at clearing and healing the chakra associated with the day, reestablishing the spiritual value of it, and preparing ourselves for the night and the waking of the next morning to walk into the next morning in the most positive mindset possible. And that's at 9 p.m. Now, I've been changing how I'm formatting this because quite literally, this is day 2 of week 2 for me, okay? And I'm just fine tuning it. Any comments or suggestions? I know that this is low video quality and I'm doing it for the purpose of, getting the biggest picture possible, but anything that you can give me to help me along, that would be helpful by way of advice. Okay, now let me introduce you to some other things. Let me go back up here a little bit. You'll notice along the top edge where the ceiling is, I have little boxes. Okay, each one of those boxes represents a different day of the week and what our focus is on those days. So, for instance, yesterday was Root Chakra Monday. Oh, can you see me? Yes. And it's all about who we are. It affects our ovaries and testes. I recommend a stretch and eating proteins and meats to amplify everything that we're doing. Today being Tuesday, it's Sacral Chakra. The color is orange. We find out what brings us joy. We're assisting our adrenals. The activity I suggest is a stretch and a simple balance-based exercise. And we focus on drinking liquids. And every day of the week is a different focus to assist every other thing that we're doing in that day. Through our education, through our repetitive thinking with the morning focus, the midday motivation, and the evening chakra, we're creating a process that supports the foundational thinking to keep us consistently in alignment of bringing out and maintaining our highest level of energetic value through our highest spiritual wisdom that we have attained. Now, I talk a lot about life cycles, and life cycles are actually attached to the chakra system in understanding how I present this, okay? So here is indicative of a single life cycle, 1 through 10, okay? In the beginning of the life cycle, you're talking about your root chakra work. Then you get to your sacral chakra work, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and then finally your crown. And if we're doing things correctly, we're doing this in a flow cycle rather than, 1 through 10 or 1 through 8 and then hard stop. We didn't learn our lesson. We've got to begin again at 1. When we're learning our lessons through our educational experiences, our challenges, our relationships, we should be able to flow one cycle into the next. 1 being bringing our wisdom forward into the new cycle. 2, a life event which causes us to consider our options. 3, the beginning of a new cycle based on what your choice was for the life event. And now here, this is our foundation. This begins the sacral chakra, following our joy. In the new cycle, finding out what gives us the most joy is where we are today in 3 and 4. You see? And when we grasp the education through the process, arrive at the heart chakra and engage that powerful understanding from a spiritual sense, we begin the beginning process of amplifying our new selves out into the collective to flow into yet another educational cycle. Now, this one cycle can be one large cycle over the whole cycle of our lives, but within that overarching cycle of life, we have many, many, many learning and education cycles within it. And this is a flow cycle example of how we should be processing, learning, moving forward, begin again on a new cycle. It's an educational experience driven by relationships. Now I want to pull this down a little bit. I literally have every bit of my wall used. Okay. Now I want to go over this right here. This chart. It's 1 through 10. This is where I've taken the energetic value of our emotions, compared it to the energetic value of our spiritual wisdom and understanding, and applied it back then through gematria on the understanding and then applied it to the flow chart. So these are many different tools that are obtained from many different methodologies brought together in similarity to create the understanding that we need on how to use our tools. Okay? And they all do have come back to one general understanding that can be combined for our benefit. And this is what I'm showing you today. So, one being wisdom brought forward, that I said is one, that's a root chakra. Two is a life event, which provides us opportunity of choice, which is still within the root chakra. Three is the initial opening, the beginning of a cycle, and the conclusion of our choice as we move forward, which is then your sacral chakra. We always come into some level of resistance as we face new things within ourselves. It's the challenge, it is the educational point at this point, and we always meet with some resistance within ourselves at that time. Five is when we're kind of fighting ourselves. We're fighting ourselves, and you can't see that, right? Five is when we're kind of fighting ourselves. It becomes a washing machine cycle of life. It's like, okay, I know what I should be doing, but I'm not quite doing it yet. And you're kind of beating yourself up and you're sitting on the fence. And okay, am I really going in the right direction? How is this benefiting me? It's that little bit of confusion point. It's the test of your education. Here in four, in your resistance, right? You're trying to break this resistance so you can educate, right? So you can learn. When you get into five, the washing machine cycle of life, that's when you're stuck in a repetitive cycling because you have not yet allowed yourself to onboard the education. But it is assumed that then at six, we move into the research and knowledge standpoint where we allow ourselves to understand what we're working towards, because the fear only comes from a lack of understanding. So research and experimentation will reduce the level of fear, enabling us to learn the education that's trying to be shown to us over here at three that we're resisting. And when we finally break free and grasp the education, that's when we're finally able within that cycle to begin the proper foundation that you need based on that educational wisdom that you're receiving. Then we go right into active application. This is where we are, we're becoming ourselves and projecting ourselves. And eight is the throat chakra. Seven is the heart chakra. Five and six, where we're like fighting each other, is our solar plexus chakra, where, it's all about self-esteem and confidence, right? So, all the way up to here, this is foundation building. All of this is our beginning process of the education that we need to onboard to successfully conclude a cycle and not arrive at a hard stop. Because if we get to here, to five, and we choose the wrong road because we're refusing to do our research and expand and build a new foundation, this is where the hard cycle comes in. So you're only ever half completing a cycle. And in most times, the next cycle you'll be in will be very similar to this one. So through research and knowledge, we drop our fear. We move into the understanding that we need to build our foundation. We begin active application, as with our throat chakra, allowing our energy to precede us. We arrive at the end of this cycle, graduation. This is where, in the third eye chakra, all of this education then gets backflowed into your experience for a higher level understanding of your previous experiences. That's the point where emotions begin to get healed, okay? And 10 becomes the purity of truth, the spiritual connectedness, and becoming selfishly unselfish as you fully allow your full spiritual self to integrate into the collective. That essentially is a process. And the energetic value attached to each of these rises according to the number indicated, 10 being the highest. Each time we encounter another spiritual step within a life cycle, our energetic value increases. Now, if you never finish the education, if you get stuck halfway through the field of fear and you never complete the walk, then you will only ever attain that level 5 personal energy vibration. And at this level, you're still throwing wooden boomerangs instead of golden boomerangs. So you're literally manifesting a lower quality life for yourself by a lack of spiritual wisdom, which then affects your personal energetic vibration, which then is called karma, which is called life cycles, which is called education, whatever you want to call it. It's knowledge. It's spiritual knowledge and understanding is all it is. Okay, let me change the view again. Let me get over here. All right. Now, this is a list here. I have little doodads, love you and Pluto and Aquarius, which is, we're dipping in and out of this year, but, come to stay. Next year is a whole different gamut from what I see. Let me see. Can you see the moon cycles? No, let me tilt it a little bit because we'll talk about that for a second. I mentioned the energetic value of, where we are yesterday and the day before being a 1, being a 2, and today we're on a 3. I actually, kind of mapped it out for a short vision. In March, we had a 3, a beginning of a cycle, and a 9, an end of a cycle. In April, we had the opportunity to choose again. And then on the 23rd, with the full moon, which is the day after the collective healing event begins, that's an 8. And 8 over here is active application of our foundations. So we're supposed to be learning here and then beginning to apply our wisdom from the previous cycles here by the 23rd. Okay, and then going to May, we have a new cycle and another end cycle. So we are constantly beginning to open and close cycles, rapid learning. This is like boom, 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 boom. Here's something to learn. Here's something to learn. Here's something to learn. Open your heart. Let it in. Get the greater level of understanding and wisdom that I'm trying to show you. Over and over and over and over again, offering you the opportunity of a life event all through 2024. And it just so happens that right now we're still in Mercury retrograde. It just went full station on April 1st. And we're going to feel the effects of that until the 13th of May. Guess what? When it began to influence us, it was a 2. It was a life event, which, Mercury retrograde, most would assume that anyway. At its conclusion, it's an 8, active application. Everything astrologically is pointing us in the direction of choose again. Learn, hear me, not me, but the Most High Creator. Hear my guidance. Let me show you a comparison of opposites so that you have the opportunity to choose. But just like I showed you on the chart, if you get stuck at number 5 and you choose not to onboard any of what's going on in our world during this whole entire year as an opportunity for your educational experience to jump on the spiritual wagon, you're going to keep encountering these hard stops while everybody else is flowing. And that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to bring everyone into a flow cycle. Okay. Now, one last thing here. Let me tilt it a little bit. Oh, no, there's a couple things here. All right. So, I told you that there's a bunch of stuff I do, and I already introduced the things that I do every day with the morning focus, the midday chakra motivation, and the evening meditation. But in addition to that, and in addition to, the activity, live chats, and things like that we do right on the Club Gig platform, I do some other videos, okay, and I have them listed here. I wanted to explain them briefly. Real life shit, it's called. Real life shit is what we're dealing with while we're trying to integrate our more spiritual selves into our daily habits and behaviors, right? And I felt that it would be helpful to be able to answer others' questions about specific life things. Because here we talk general, right? But we still are living life. We still have relationships and jobs and kids and finances and all kinds of things that we're dealing with on a regular basis. And part of the integration of your spiritual self into your daily living is how you think about these individual little pieces. So I thought to come on Mondays and Wednesdays for giggers on Club Gig supporters. It's early release Monday night and Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then I release it to the general public on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Okay, but as giggers, you have the opportunity to submit your questions to me, and then I let you know what night I'll be broadcasting the answers to that. And it can be really fun. We could have a really good time with this. The whole purpose is helping one another understand how to handle our day to day and integrate our higher level spiritual selves into that. Okay. Then I created Angels of the New Era of Spirituality. Now, in my opinion, people who have been through the most traumatic events, SA, narcissistic abuse, which is pretty much everyone, veterans, anybody that has, blockages that of a higher level degree, there's different things that are triggers and barriers to our growth. And it's helpful, and me, as a survivor of, childhood SA and the narcissistic abuse, the death of a child, and a brush with cancer, I understand the different triggers, the different holdbacks that are inherent within us. And I'm here to talk about that one time every week. This is going to be paid as soon as, things really get up and ramped up. I'm going to ask for $5 for each participant, but we're going to do that live every Saturday at 11 o'clock because together, when we learn together, everyone grows, and that's the intention. Now, on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, I am a business person at heart. I have a lot of ideas about business. I have a lot of opinions about business. I had previously a business network, and I am redoing my business network based on those who are following this type of program, allowing the Most High Creator to direct their steps in order to build the correct business processes and organizational structures that are the highest best for everyone involved. And I just started conversing about this, and it's Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Everything's Eastern Standard. And then I have one more. It's called Mind's Eye Discussions, which I broadcast at 3 o'clock on Saturdays. And, I receive a lot of information and a lot of insight. And, in addition to the real life shit topics, there's other things that I can bring to you as food for thought that aren't specifically about any particular topic of yours in particular, but on a general overview on how we look at and how we handle things and why is it important to look at things in different ways. And I do touch a lot of subjects in there. I could do it every single day. I have so much information for you, but I'm restricting myself to this and trying to bleed out all this information through all these different mediums because I am hoping to touch as many people as possible. Okay, and this wheel is the last thing I'm going to explain to you. It's the last thing on my chalkboard, if you will. This is our point of choice. This is where our minds are and the options that we have to think on a regular basis with every single solitary thing and decision that we do. Okay. Now, you'll notice I have 1 through 10 on both sides. On the left side, they're sideways. And on the right side, they're straight up. Now, what this is representative of is a narcissistic viewpoint on one side, where we do and behave and create in such a way that is primarily only beneficial to ourselves. And then on this side is the mindset that although we operate out of self-love and a selfish selflessness, this way of thinking is manifesting a higher level vibration of peace and unity, where all things are abundant. It's more of a collective-based thought system than an individualized based thought system, which then becomes the foundation of all things, your own self, your family, your community, and the world at large, okay? We're always right here before any thought, before any decision. This is us standing here. Boom, we get something that we have to decide on. Okay, we have the opportunity to be logical human beings. And without any knee-jerk reactions or without any external influences, we make a decision to move up this life cycle based on this thought process or based on that thought process. This is the time and what's happening at a life event such as yesterday. We were given the opportunity to choose which side of this wheel we wanted to be on. Spiritual wisdom, understanding, and truth, blinders, lack of growth, individualistic thinking of the past. Future, new era of spirituality. This produces wooden boomerangs, and this produces golden boomerangs. We get to choose every time there's a new life event, and there's many this year. The choice is not just whether we want to grow and become. The choice is how we want to grow and become. Because we are literally manifesting every single moment of every single day exactly what's running through our minds. Our emotions have the opportunity and potential to override every other thought process. When our emotions are out of whack, that's why our lives are out of whack. Because our mind and our emotions are literally producing the energetic vibration which is causing the boomerangs to be thrown and returned. That's why this is so interesting to me. Because not only do I have a love for humanity that I just can't shake no matter what you do to me, but I also have this logical mind that says, you know what? This is a process that we can use to overcome anything, to grow and expand through the challenge and arrive on the other side, bigger, better, faster, stronger than ever before. On Sacral Chakra Tuesday, I found my joy. My joy is sharing my love and my light of this process to help other people be on a path of authenticity, to help you learn how to connect to the Creator. This is where I took my learning of who I really am. I'm just a girl from New Jersey, sitting in a house somewhere in video land. But this is what God's giving me, based on my desire to fully accept who I am according to the Most High Creator. And then to go about joyfully finding what gives me the greatest level of peace, which makes my juices flow and makes me feel passionate. This is it for me. But the point is, and I know I went to a lot of time to explain this to you because I don't want you to be afraid. Fear is our biggest roadblock. I'm hoping that when you see what I have here and understand it's simply a process that we logically walk through in order to tap into both our masculine and feminine energies within us, and that spiritual wisdom of who we are according to the Most High Creator. We get to walk straight on through our blockages, climb right up on top of that mountain, and become the beacons of love and life that we were meant to be. Easily. Without a hiccup. Painlessly removing all those hurts and pains. And simultaneously, we're enabling ourselves to see truth. I don't call it woke. It's not woke. Anybody can see the writing on the wall if you want to look at things logically. The question is, how do we go about improving the situation? Once upon a time, it was force and fighting. In the new era of spirituality, it's all about finding the internal strength within so truth can't escape you. And from that position, through all of this, truth is all there is. It's what becomes your regular. And no more do we make decisions based on a lack of understanding. We then understand everything we need to understand and make good, solid decisions based on the foundational understanding of who we are within, which is the most peaceful, joyous, and abundant place I've ever been in the midst of all difficulties of life. And we learn how to overcome challenges and heal our emotions like that because it's just not the same anymore. You understand what they are. You understand what they're used for. It's nearly immediate closure. Amen to that. So with this, tomorrow, we're going to go to solar plexus chakra, where we take all of what we know and our creations that we found and enjoyed, and we allow that to begin to take root in our lives. First, in our families, our small network of coworkers, friends. One step at a time. We step right out of the hole. And then the next day, we're in the heart chakra, where we grab all the energy that's available to us from a place of love. This is when we ignite the God spark within. So today, find your joy. I found mine. I'd love to share it with you. And I hope you join me at Club Gig, clubgig.locals.com. If you're not ready to sign on to Club Gig, I do have a lot of stuff that, right now it's wide open. You can get on there and do whatever. But, you could always come and visit me at Rumble and YouTube at Spiritual Healer Kimberly until you're ready. Because the time will come. If you're listening to me, if you're still on after all this conversation, your time's here. We were led to be together for a reason. I do believe that. And that's all I have today now for the chakra motivation, but I will be back at 9 o'clock with the evening meditation, where we allow ourselves to finish onboarding this, clear up the garbage off of our plates from the day, and get our minds refocused on tomorrow, our self-confidence and self-esteem needed to begin allowing ourselves to be our true authentic selves in the world. So have a lovely afternoon. I do love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.